Hey guys, again, let's just continue where we left off. So, the first part of the video was really to give you guys a foundation from where I'm coming from. I'm coming from someone who not only, or I should say, who goes beyond belief in God. I trust God. That is where I am basing my entire life existence. My intention for this channel is to create a space where we get into mental shape in a divine way. We go about it in a divine way because from my own experience, I have found that that is the healthiest, the safest, the most stable way to get into mental shape. And the reason why we want to get into mental shape is because clarity. Clarity is your defense against a life where you feel like someone or something is missing, where you feel like you are unfulfilled, where you feel like there is not enough of support, enough of resources, enough of money, enough of love, where you feel like you are missing in any way. You need to have a healthy mind because a healthy mind is naturally solution oriented. And I'll take it a step further. When your mind is healthy as a result of being God centered, God focused, then you are going to be able to use that solution oriented mindset towards every area of your life. When you are focused on God, there is not one area of your life that is not going to be elevated and enhanced, taken care of, tended to. So you want to make sure that you are mentally healthy. Yes, you want to make sure that you are not just out here believing anything that you hear, but you also want to make sure that you're not afraid of information. You're not afraid of knowledge because then you might be blocking your blessings. You might be preventing yourself from being guided or being course corrected if you don't have a healthy mindset. And an unhealthy mind is a mind that is easily agitated, meaning you find yourself worrying, you find yourself doubting, you find yourself stressed and anxious. And if, like me, you find that you are consistently in that state, you may suffer from a panic attack or an anxiety attack, whichever one they call it. I think I suffered from both of them. But I had one episode of a panic attack or an anxiety attack, and that was all I needed to wake up, to realize that I was not as mentally healthy as I believed myself to be. And because I was not as mentally healthy as I believed myself to be, that experience, that episode was enough for me to be like, I got to get myself on track. I got to get my health back. And that journey started back in 2013. And it has landed me here where I realized that what is something I would do if I were getting paid or not getting paid for it? And this is it. I would be sharing mental training with the world. I would be sharing faith-based mental training with the world. And that is what I'm doing. That is my husband, God, has given me the lifestyle where I don't have to worry about finances. I can pursue my passions. I can develop myself into a woman that I was designed to be, one that really elevates the definition of motherhood, elevates the definition of womanhood, elevates the definition of faithful womanhood. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful that that in every way, I am getting paid, being provided for, and am being protected for simply being myself because I know who I am. I know that God is not a man in the sky outside of me, that the very God that I serve in the external world, I serve in the inner world. So there is no separation between me and higher power. I am a divine reflection of that. So sometimes you'll hear me say that I am Teo. That's all I mean. I mean that I am the embodiment of truth. But so are you. And so is every single human being on this planet. We are all designed to be God emanations. We are designed to use our mental power to come out of poverty thinking. And poverty thinking is when you believe that someone or something is lacking in your experience that is preventing you from living the life that in your heart you desire to live. So the type of training that we are doing is to break free from mediocrity, because that is basic thinking, to think that you are not designed and fully equipped to handle the life that you have and to navigate out of it if you see it not necessarily reflecting God, because God is abundant. God is all seeing, all knowing, all powerful, all healing, all being. And so if you find yourself suffering financially, suffering emotionally, mentally, physically, if you see that there is a lot of instability in the world, this is just a sign for the individual, for you and I, to get, I said for you and I, because I mean for you and I, but you get what I mean. That is just a signal for us to get back into mental shape. And so that is what we're going to do on this channel. We are going to get into shape as God as our focus point. So the focal point that I use for the type of training that we do for faith-based mental training is the breath. And the breath is something that we all overlook because, again, we are easily distracted. If you haven't watched part 1 of my video, please go watch it. Actually, I'm not even going to go into what I'm about to go into. I'm just going to tell you, watch part 1 of the introduction and orientation to faith-based mental training, because if I cover it again here, I'll be derailing myself, which defeats the purpose of what I'm trying to share, which is when you are mentally in shape, you have clarity, you know exactly what it is you are doing in the moment. So I want to stay on track, which is what I'm going to do. So the breath is the focal point of the type of training that we do, because the breath is divine spirit. The breath is the all-powerful beginning and end, alpha and omega of our human experience. Without it, we will cease to exist in human form. We will not cease to exist, but we will cease to exist in human form. And your human form is a gift from God. You are life itself. And so you are a reflection of God. You are here to illuminate and magnify God. And when you do that, it is because you come into a direct connection, a direct experience of God. Otherwise, you'll find that you are successful in some areas of your life, but then you find that you're struggling in other areas of your life. And one of the first principles of success is that it has to cover every area of your life. Otherwise, you're not living a successful life. And what I have found from being God focused, from mentally training and keeping the breath as the focal point, is that every area of our lives will be touched by God. And the touching of God in every area of your life is that everything gets elevated and enhanced. You will find that you start to, just watch the first video. But the breath is the focal point for that reason, because the breath is life, and life is the thing that we need to know if we are intentional about it, if we have the clarity and the solution-oriented, creative mind that a healthy mind has. If we allow that, then we can have the life that we desire to see and experience, and we get to go about it harmoniously, which is one of the greatest benefits of faith-based mental training, is that you are not pursuing happiness, health, wealth, and contentment from a state of, when I get it, then I'll be happy. No, you are pursuing it, you are allowing it, you are attracting it. Whichever direction you want to head, you will be doing it from a state of mental peace. And I think that is one of the best gifts that God can give us in our human form, in this physical vessel that we are occupying as divine emanations of the Most High, is that we get to pursue, we get to attract, we get to allow a life of pure harmony, of pure bliss, of pure love, of pure power, of pure freedom from a state of mental peace. And so that is what we are going to be focused on. So there are some things I want to cover in this video, because I just really wanted to lay the foundation for what I'm about in the first video. And so let's cover what type of training, what is required for this type of training. So first things first, you got to approach this like it's a workout. You don't go to the gym dressed in your cute clothes, and well, you do, but you're in comfortable clothing. So if you are going to mentally train with me, wear clothing that you feel comfortable enough sitting in. I am going to be posting 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute, and 20-minute videos. And these videos are intended to hit every area of your life. I do a 30-minute mental fitness workout. If that's something that you are interested in doing with me live, then let's get me to that 1,000 subscriber mark. And then on live, I will just do my 30-minute mental workouts with you guys. But because I am providing a service, I am providing a sample of the service that I offer. I don't want to be sitting all day with you guys and barely um, I mean, I don't mind it. I love sitting with you guys, but I do, like I said, I am a woman who is blessed to have freedom of time. And so I really try to keep that time organized. And so I realize that I have to make the most use of the time I have. So I'm able to set aside a certain amount of a devotion and also of service. And so I will be uploading 5 minute, 10 minute, 15, and 20-minute videos. And so make sure you're wearing clothing that you feel comfortable enough to sit in for that duration of time. Like I said, you wouldn't go to the gym with clothing that you don't feel comfortable working out in. Because we are going to be sitting silent and still, you're going to pick a position and maintain that position, and then you're going to focus on keeping your mind silent and still, and you're going to learn that thoughts is not your mind, it's the observer. That's what our mind really is. Our mind is divine intelligence. It is awareness. It is able to pay attention. It's able to be aware of expansive um, perception. And so your thoughts, the words, the conversations we're having, those aren't necessarily as important as it is for you to recognize that you have the power to be silent and still, even when you are speaking. So just make sure that you are wearing clothing that you feel comfortable sitting silent and still in. The second thing is be in a space where you feel comfortable enough to close your eyes. The type of training that I share, you do not have to close your eyes for. The training, faith-based mental training, is about bringing a level of alertness and relaxation into your body temple that is of the highest frequency. So as I said, the breath is the focal point of our training. It's the focal point of our attention when we are training. And for that reason, you are going to have to be you are going to have to allow yourself to raise your vibration, to raise your level of awareness, to raise your level of alertness. A lot of us are not aware that we're incapable of concentrating and focusing for long periods of time. But this is it's a requirement in life. It's necessary in life. You have to be able, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, be able to maintain concentration and focus on your life. And if you are allowing yourself to be distracted by the challenges that life brings to you, by the obstacles, by unexpected events, then you're going to find that you're not living a fulfilling life. When you are God-centered, when you are God focused, you will realize that the challenges, the obstacles, the unexpected events is just God's way of really solidifying your trust in God. And so you have to embrace these challenges. You have to embrace these unexpected events because it's just God's way of seeing if you trust. And if you trust, you will find that you're able to move through these unexpected situations, these challenges, these obstacles from a state of mental peace. You'll find that you're able to handle them, even though emotionally they aren't comfortable. Emotionally, they feel very uncomfortable, very unpleasant. But your disposition, someone who is rooted in the principles of faith, watch the first video, is going to be that of someone who moves gracefully, moves elegantly, as I like to say of my Becoming Her series in my private life. But yeah, so you want to be in a space where you feel comfortable enough to close your eyes should you desire to do so. We are in a state of alertness and relaxation, whether our eyes are open or closed. Please watch that first video. Third thing is move around a bit, stretch, use the restroom, move the body. It just helps you. Sitting silent and still is not something that a lot of people are used to, and the type of training that I share with you requires that you do that. You do have to get into a position that you feel comfortable sitting in and maintaining for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. We've got to recognize that God designed us to be divinely poised. And to be divinely poised, you have to be connected and sitting in something so powerful, so loving, so secure that you're able to do it. But you got to get comfortable with the fact that that's your nature. It is your nature to be able to sit in silence and stillness. And if you find yourself struggling to do so, welcome. That is what this is for. I want you to be comfortable whether there's a lot going on or whether there's nothing going on. Most importantly, comfortable within the vessel that God has given you as a gift. You've got to feel safe and secure and stable in this vessel, because it is the vessel through which God is going to express its existence, its power, its love, its freedom. So we don't want to have a vessel that we don't even feel comfortable sitting in, because to sit comfortably, to sit and maintain poise, grace, and endure, because that is what we're doing when you're not comfortable sitting silent and still. You're learning to endure discomfort. And discomfort is a part of life. So we have to get comfortable with it as quickly as possible. That's why you're never too young to start mentally training. I should be specific. You are never too young to start faith-based mental training, because I know there are many forms of mental training. This is faith-based mental training. You are never too young to be God-focused, God-centered, and to do it in a divine way. And so move around, stretch, drink some water, use the restroom, remove or eliminate any type of distraction that you know you may encounter having to maintain your body, to keep your body still. Provide yourself with back support. That's just going to allow you to maintain alertness and allow the body tempo to relax. Yes, this is a type of training you can do laying down, but like I said, no one goes to the gym ready to relax in that way. You want to get the relaxation that comes from you got it done. You did what you needed to do. So when you're walking out of there, you feel those, euphoric chemicals being released in the body temple. It's the same thing with this type of training. Sit up, sit in the position that God designed us to sit in, which is the throne of your life. You are the focal point of God's attention, and thus sit like it. Sit like you are God's child. Sit like you are God's beloved, that you are the first and foremost important thing in God's life, in God's creation of humanity. And so when you're sitting here, shoulders should be back, spine should be erect, and you sit like you are that, because you are that, and you are here to experience God in and around you. So provide yourself with back support. Make sure you're sitting, whether that's a bed, a pillow, a chair. Just get in a position that you can maintain. I didn't bring my mala beads. My last one is mala beads. If you find it difficult to keep the breath as the focal point of the type of training that we do, meditation beads. They call them mala beads. They call them japa beads. There's a few other names for. I call them meditation beads because the rosary beads, they're called garlands. I call them meditation beads because the way I use them is strictly to maintain my focus on the breath. As I said, the breath is God. It is divine spirit. It is your portal to your own intimate experience of God, of Jesus, of Buddha, of Krishna. We have to realize that if God is truly God, it is universal. Everyone has access, and everyone has visible access to the portal. And so I simply use anything in the external world as a portal to God. And the meditation beads are great tools to keep yourself focused and concentrated. And I really want to stress this point before I get into the technique itself of what we're going to be doing. Faith-based mental training is about bringing your state of mind, your concentration and focus muscles, restoring the health of our mind. Concentration and focus are the mental muscles of our intelligence. If you are out here gathering, acquiring, accumulating information, but you are not healthy enough to process it and digest it to the degree that it is a benefit for you and those you love, then your mind is not as healthy as it should be, as it can be. And so when I am talking about God, when I am talking about portals, when I am talking about the way we're supposed to carry ourselves, this is a very intimate, this is between you and God. I really am here to spread the gospel, and to also to just share a very powerful practice that has radically changed my life. I am not here to convince you of anything. There is a God, ladies and gentlemen. There is a higher power, and that higher power is supremely powerful. It is the ultimate of powers. There is no power outside of this power. And so when you are using your meditation bead, you are not drifting off into some unknown realm where spirits can get in and get out, because again, that is not God focused. It is not God focused. If you are susceptible to harm, no weapons formed against me shall prosper. That is not just being said as a philosophical statement. And let's just say it was a philosophical statement. Philosophy is the love of knowledge, the love of wisdom, of truth, of information. And the only way you can ever love something is if you really get to know it. And so when we are sitting with the breath as the focal point of our training, it's because we understand that God is right here in the present moment. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't need to die. I don't need to come alive. I don't need to do anything except exist to have my connection, my guidance from God. And so you are not venturing off into some mental states that I don't know about. I mean, I've never had weird experiences during meditations. I've had revelations, I've had insights, I've had books that I have read be made more clear. Now I understand them based on meditation. But I've never had any ill spirits, ill will. I've never had anything negative happen to me from meditation. And so if someone is sharing that with you, they are not sitting silent and still, because there is absolutely zero confusion, zero misunderstanding when you are silent and still, alert and relaxed. Because if you are alert and relaxed, you are prepared, baby. You are ready. You are ready to take action, ready to make choices, but you're not ready like this. You're not looking like you're struggling. You're ready. You're poised. Because again, I don't care what history has told us. We come from royalty. We come from abundance. We come from a sense of safety and security that cannot be put into words. And yes, our ancestors, people in our family may have gone through a long period of suffering, but it never negates the fact that we come from abundance. We come from a sense of safety and security. And so when you're using your meditation beads, every bead is simply to keep your focus of attention on the inhale and exhale of your breathing. Why? Because the breath is revealing to us that life is here, that God is here, that remain focused and then see what happens. You have to be okay seeing what happens. From my experience, it's scary in the beginning when you don't know what is going to happen from you fully trusting God. But that's what faith is. Faith is trusting God and allowing whatever else is going to happen to happen. Then that's when you can say, through God, nothing is impossible, because that's your experience. You come into knowledge and understanding. And understanding requires experience. I don't care how many books you have read. Unless you give yourself the experience, you have to actually take action. You have to actually expose yourself to life so that you can have experience based on what you're reading. And I have read countless numbers of books on enlightenment, and I have found not one to be telling a lie. When you fully surrender and trust God, which is what faith is, you will find that you are disciplined. You are not out here overindulging in food, overindulging in drinking and smoking and reading and talking and any of that. You become so disciplined that it almost makes people uncomfortable. They don't understand the level of intensity because they have not really breathed in the life of God. So we were breathed into existence. That is all the meditation beads are there to do, is to keep your focus of attention on God, which is the inhale and exhale of your breathing. That is the realm of silence and stillness. It is the realm of truth. In that space, no one can lie to you. You will never be misguided. You will never be easily manipulated or swayed. Sound. You are soundproof, bulletproof, um, ignorant proof. Anything that doesn't benefit God's children elevating and enhancing in the quality of their lives will be repelled by you. And that's a beautiful thing, because what you will find when you are God focused is that it is uncomfortable in the beginning, but it's only because you've developed a lot of habits and beliefs out of survival. Some things have happened to you in life. Some traumas have taken place. And I always talk about one of the first traumas we incur is being born. Having been a mother, having given birth naturally, as calm and as centered as I desired and like to have been, the birthing process in and of itself is traumatic. Your body has to go through a tremendous amount of pain to give birth to that child. That child is there through that pain. And so you come into this world with trauma. And so healing is very important. And you have to know that through God, nothing is impossible. I don't care what anyone says. If you use the principles of faith that I share in that first video, there is nothing impossible for you to heal. Every disease has its root cure in God. Every illness, every sickness, every poverty expression has its cureness in God, and your portal is a breath. That's all I'm sharing. All right, so let's get into the techniques. 5 techniques to this type of mental training that we do, and then we'll get into our mental training for the week. I'm sorry, I just had a moment of like true happiness. Okay. I'm going to try not to cry. That's weird. Okay. Just grateful, grateful, grateful. You guys, I am not sharing something with you that can do you harm. I really am sharing something with you that can radically change your life if you are willing, to get into mental shape, to get into the best shape of your life mentally. You will find that every other area of your life is going to blossom according to destiny, according to God's will, because you can control your destiny by living your life according to God's will. Watch the first video, guys. Okay, so the first technique is we are going to keep our focus of attention on the breath. As I said, this type of training that we do is intended to strengthen your concentration and focus muscles. These muscles need to be strong to keep your mind in a solution-oriented, creative state. When you are solution-oriented and creative, there is no obstacle, no challenge, no unexpected event that can derail your ability to manifest the life you desire. The thing I have found in my experience is I just wasn't as mentally disciplined as I know I could be. And so there were times when unexpected situations, unexpected events, challenges, in particular financial ones, whenever they arose, I would get distracted. And instead of maintaining the principles of faith, I went into survival mode. I went into what I know allows me to survive. But what I have learned is I am entering my soft wife era. Not only do I know I am a high value woman, I am a highly favored. Jeez, man. Love of God. Okay. So you come into the understanding, not only do you know that you are a highly valued individual, you are highly favored. And I forget the other one I really wanted to use. It'll come to me. Highly attractive. And what that means is it's an inner, highly favored, highly valued, Highly attractive states is an inner excellence. It's because you come into such a way of life that you are non-negotiable when it comes to the way you express your trust and your love and your devotion to God. Non-negotiable. And so the first thing you are going to do is place your focus of attention on the breath and keep it there. That is what is going to strengthen your concentration and focus muscles, allowing you to maintain a solution-oriented and creative mindset. This is what keeps us in a state of peace when we know that problems are a part of life, but we also know, and that's where we're focused, is that we have the solution and we know the source of the solution. Because we know the source of the solution, we have the solution. And because we know the source of the solution is a creator, therefore I am creative, there is a way out of it. If I trust my steps, if I trust the choice I make, that's the way out. And that's why developing such a strong, intense, extreme focus on the breath is to develop a strong, intense focus and extreme focus on God. There's no separation. There's no difference or distinguishing differences between the two. Spirit is divinity's visible presentation of itself. The breath is God's visible access for us. The second thing you're going to do is breathe through any emotions or discomforts or sensations or tingleness that arises during your training. Like I said, you're going to be sitting silent and still. And because you're going to be sitting silent and still, you are going to come into some discomfort. You are going to feel like moving. You're going to feel like scratching. To the best of your ability, breathe through it. Emotions are simply energies in motion, and energies in motion come in all forms. They come in the form of thoughts. They come in the form of an itchy nose, an itchy foot, a discomfort in your neck, a tension in your jaw, a movement. You'll see if you're really paying attention to my mental workout videos, you'll find on my face. That's why I do a close-up of my face. Now, eventually, when my studio gets revamped, I will do a zoomed out version and really show you my entire body tempo, because I really want you guys to know when I say sitting silent and still, I'm doing it too. But you are going to go through things. A lot of us, tension, anxiousness, stress, it's all we know, and it shows up on our face. And when we are maintaining poise, grace, God focused, God centered being, you are going to have your body is going to react to that. But elegance is when your movement in life is one of harmony, is one of grace. That is what creativity is. Creativity is when the creator is moving in a very active, very intentional way. And so it doesn't look sloppy. It doesn't look half-assed. It looks very intentional. And for that, you've got to learn to breathe through discomfort. You got to learn to address things from a state of mental peace. And you begin by doing that by strengthening your concentration and focus muscles. If you can learn to maintain concentration and focus on the breath, that is going to allow you to handle and breathe through any discomfort you're feeling, so that you're not making decisions from a hectic or anxious or scared mindset. Third thing is consciously breathe. We are going to consciously breathe in and out. So you're going to breathe on purpose. So now in the beginning, you might need to breathe really loud, really intentional, so that you can hear it and so that you're aware that you are intentionally breathing. But as you get really strong in this, as you become more mentally fit, you won't even be like, you'll barely be able to hear your own breathing, to the point where that's when you want to incorporate feeling. So you want to see and feel the breath when you are consciously breathing. See and feel the breath when you are consciously breathing. That's the third technique. The fourth technique is that you're going to breathe in and out rhythmically. Nothing about being patient in God is rushed. Nothing about being patient in God seems like you're stressed out, like you're worried. You have to learn that the way you're breathing expresses your trust in God. And so, what we're going to practice doing is breathing rhythmically. However, I want you to know this is not like a controlling thing. You are going to learn to breathe rhythmically fast, rhythmically slow, rhythmically shallow, rhythmically deep. When I am working out, and especially when I'm doing hit trainings, my breathing is like it's a bit quick, it's a bit fast, but I trust that that's the way I need to be breathing in the moment. Now I do notice it slows down, I recover faster. My guys, I am telling you, the breath is an overlooked, it's overlooked. We are so busy arguing about the face of God that we forget that there is no name, there is no face for that which is the genesis of creation. Man can never be the genesis of creation. What God can do is bless us with individuals who are willing to evolve and expand and really embody the message. And those people can be prophets, those people can be chosen ones, those people can be guides, they can be mentors. But we should never forget that a human being is still a manifestation of the Most High. The Most High is the genesis of creation. And that which is the genesis of creation doesn't have a name, doesn't have a voice, doesn't have a gender. Like, um, but again, I say this completely understanding why we say he, why we refer to God as Father. I have a husband, I have a father, and the qualities that these men, I have a brother, the qualities that these men embody in my life, I understand why God is a he. But I have a mother, and I have a daughter, and I have a sister, and I have women in my life that really represent God fully. And so I can see the balance of God in my own human experience. I can see why God is unconditionally loving because of these women in my life. So don't get so caught up on the messenger that you lose sight of the message that the messenger was bringing, which is unity, communion with God, first and foremost. And then you get to enjoy that communion and unity with your husband, with your children, with your parents, with people you love, with the people you're serving. All right. So breathe, breathe in and out calmly. Breathe in and out calmly. You're going to breathe fluidly, so you're not going to pause or hold your breath. Every inhale is connected to the exhale. Every exhale is connected to the inhale. Lastly, you are going to allow yourself to enter a state of mental peace. And whether you know it or not, we block ourselves from our blessings because we're afraid to open up. And one of the things that I have learned about being God focused, God centered, is that opening up is necessary. God is an abundant God, and you have to be an open individual for the blessings to come in. And that cannot come in if you are afraid, and it cannot come in if you are lacking. So you are going to have to be open to being purified, meaning go through the fear, go through the tension and the stress and the anxiety, but keep your focus, breathe through it, because ultimately you are going, especially with me, you are going to enter a state of mental peace. And that is the state we are going to maintain. I love you guys. Bye.